Alright, welcome back to Here's Rodder's Reviews. We're finishing off the opening story of Season 3 of the Transformers 5 Faces of Darkness, Part 5. Epically long opening story to the Transformers series, and all action, thankfully, in this one. At the end of the last episode, we seen the Quintessons and the Decepticons after being tricked by the Quintessons to help them attack Cybertron. At the very beginning of the episode, the initial assault on Cybertron takes out the entire defense grid, leaving the Autobots helpless and no other option but to fight hand to hand, really. So the assault starts there, and right off the bat, Ultra Magnus steps up into the leadership role in this one, and something that I kind of forgot about in the years since I've actually watched Season 3. Rodimus Prime is the new leader, the replacement for Optimus Prime, but Ultra Magnus, for the most part, and the whole run of Season 3 really, is the one that's really more in the role of commander in this one. It's not that he's going against Rodimus Prime, it's just the writers give him far more to do than Rodimus Prime mostly got throughout the run of Season 3. Probably due to the toy sales, really. At the end of the day, Transformers was just a glorified toy commercial, and the toys for, and I had both of them, the toys for Ultra Magnus and Galvatron were exactly the same scale and size, and the toy, and Rodimus Prime, being the leader, was only about half the size of Ultra Magnus and Galvatron. So, and I had that toy as well. So whenever you're a kid playing with the two leaders of the Autobots and the Decepticons, you had a toy that stood somewhere around, I would say, 13 inches probably for Galvatron, and the Rodimus Prime toy would have only been about half the size, say 7 or so. So that maybe had something to do with it. So, yeah, Ultra Magnus pretty much turns into Optimus Prime at the beginning of this episode. Like, they're up against it, and he starts handing out the orders. Autobots, retreat to the lower levels. I'll stay here and fight them off, buy you more time. And Rodimus Prime doesn't even question this here. He's just like, your sacrifice will be remembered, old friend, sort of thing. So off they go, and he hides for most of the episode, to be fair. Ultra Magnus taking on Galvatron again. They have a slight altercation, but Galvatron is just focused on finding the Decepticon matrix of leadership that the Quintessons tricked him into thinking actually exists when it doesn't. So he just, if he gets into a confrontation with someone, he'll take a few digs at them, off he'll go, I'll get you another day. He's just, laser focused on fighting this Decepticon matrix leadership. So the entire episode here, all action. So you're cutting between 3 different locations in this one. There's another assault going on Earth, directed towards Autobot City. We get to see, the third location is the moon Io, where William Blur and Marissa Fairborn are trapped. Skylynx shows up in this episode to rescue them, get the transformation cog that they have, get it to Earth to help Autobot City transform into Metroplex. Another toy that I had back in the day. Great toy. I would love that one. But yeah, they have to first fight off the Predacons. You get them introduced in this episode as well. So there's fights going on in 3 different locations. Eventually they manage to beat the Predacons, who are combiners. They can transform into Predaking, almost like a version of the Dinobots, really. It's like a Decepticon variation. They're all animal transformers, but they can combine into a combiner. And the original run of Transformers, the Dinobots didn't have that ability, but it was introduced later on in different iterations of the show. But I digress. Eventually, they managed to escape, head back towards Earth. The main battle that's happening on Cybertron is Autobots, Decepticons fighting each other, but you've got the Quintessons in there. They have their own agenda in this. They're going to turn their back on the Decepticons as well. They made no mystery of it. This was always their plan. They're going to trick them into helping them. But at the end of the day, when the Decepticons destroy the Autobots, they're going to destroy the Decepticons. But there's a new wrinkle to the agenda here. Turns out the Quintessons have a fail-safe switch that's buried deep within Cybertron that the Autobots and Decepticons don't know about. And it's basically a reset switch for all the Transformers. They send the Quintessons in, find the switch, and press it to the down position. That'll switch off basically all the Autobots and Decepticons. So that mission goes forth. Unfortunately for the Decepticons, Blitzwing has been sent back by Galvatron to give them a report on how the attack, the assault on Cybertron is going. And he, been on their ship, hears the Sharkticons getting the directions to find the switch off the Transformers. He returns to Cybertron to try to tell Galvatron that they're going to get turned on by the Quintessons. But of course, Galvatron, he, complete psychopath, doesn't want to hear anything. He has got this idea in his head that there's a Decepticon Matrix leadership. That's all that counts. And when he finds out that Blitzwing didn't actually report the status of the battle to the Quintessons, he basically punches him, knocks him off this building or whatever it is they're standing on, and he's like, I don't want to hear about it, tell the Autobots instead, sort of a thing. So Blitzwing's falling through the air, and he's like, I really have to, and he basically falls at the feet of Rodimus Prime at this point, and manages to, he surrenders to them, and he manages to tell them that the Quintessons, an elite army of Sharkticons, are going to unleash a power that's going to, destroy all of us. So Blitzwing, Rodimus Prime, and Spike, I think Cup maybe would have been there as well. Anyway, they all go off to try and find the Sharkticons to stop this from happening. Back on Earth, Skylinks has managed to get the transformation cog back to Autobot City, but gets almost, they get shot down in the process. So Willie and Blur have to take it on foot to Metroplex. I might have misheard it, but I'm almost sure Blaster referred to the Decepticon attack using the word assholes on this episode. I'm going to have to look it back again. I'm not 100% sure, because I wanted to get this video done quick, so I just sort of quickly watched it there. I'm going to go back into it. I'm almost sure he did use the word assholes. But and the musical way that he does use his words, he kind of bounces off a few different things, but I think they let an asshole slip through there. But anyway, I digress. He is in the command center of Metroplex waiting for this transformation cog. Trypticon is on a rampage. His mission is to destroy Metroplex. In the process of getting there, we also, for the first time in this season and the last time in this season, we see Autobot headquarters and Teletran 1 in the volcano, the ship that the Autobots originally crashed, and you get to see that in this episode as well. Trypticon destroys everything. Like, it's, if you're a big fan of the show, they're not, like, if you were a kid watching this back in the day, all the elements that you loved about the Transformers up towards Transformers the movie, they were just determined to sell new toys and switch the whole scenario about to something new. So we already lost Optimus Prime in the movie. A lot of the original characters went out in the movie. The last thing that we had from season 1 and season 2 was the Ark, Teletran 1, the volcano, that whole setup. And it gets completely annihilated in short order on this episode. Trypticon, just, there's no stopping them at this point. The only hope they have is Metroplex. So back to Blur and Willy, they're on foot trying to get this transformation cog to Autobot City, the blaster, to get Metroplex the ability to transform to robot mode. He's in battle station form at this point, but he needs to be more hands-on. There's a great little sequence there where there's like a little American football kind of element to it, where the Decepticons are trying to tackle Blur and Willy to get this transformation cog. So they're like, it's just like a football match, an American football match, where they're ducking and diving and throwing the cog. Somebody's catching it and running towards the end zone. Eventually they do get it to Blaster. He gets it installed, and Metroplex, he transforms into robot form. Him and Trypticon go at it in a hand-to-hand battle, which looked really good, I have to say. They destroy an entire city below their feet while they're fighting. At the end of the fight, Metroplex essentially lifts Trypticon and throws him into the ocean. Two giant transformers, and like Blaster, he's like, yeah, that Metroplex, he's my kind of town. So back on Cybertron to close out the episode, Rodimus Prime and the Blitzwing and Spike, whoever else is there, find the Quintessons before they manage to pull this lever and shut down the Transformers. At which point Galvatron actually shows up and turns on Blitzwing, traitor. He just thinks to himself, okay, the switch must be the key to getting the Decepticon matrix of leadership. So he actually ends up pulling the switch himself after the Sharkticons are defeated, and they're all shut down at this point. The Quintessons have won. They're celebrating about getting Cybertron back. They come to the room where the switch was actually turned by Galvatron, not realizing, and kind of artfully done, throughout this whole 5-part opener, the element that they just didn't understand properly was the human element. They had a fear, and the Galvatron a few episodes back actually laughed at them whenever he heard this. He's like, the humans they're nothing, they're harmless, you've got nothing to worry about, that sort of thing. But at the end of the episode, the human element is what saves the Transformers, and it's Spike. He grabs Rodimus Prime's gun, blows up the machine and had the switch on it, which means the machine no longer has the ability to shut down the Transformers. They reawaken. Galvatron is insane at this point because he realizes he's been played by the Quintessons, so he goes after them. They manage to escape, and they've got this little escape pod thing conveniently off the side of this room. So they manage to escape from the planet. At the end of that episode, the Quintessons are off the planet. Of course, Galvatron and Rodimus Prime are standing shoulder to shoulder at this point, and the two of them turn and pull the guns on each other. And at this point, Blitzwing, actually, for once, as the voice of reason, he actually pulls his gun on Galvatron, and he's like, this battle ends now, or I'll write the conclusion myself. So Galvatron banishes him at the end of the episode. He's like, you're not welcome in the ranks of the Decepticons anymore. Blitzwing is like, sometimes it's better to be known for your enemies. The Decepticons retreat at the end of the episode, and we close it out with Rodimus Prime having, putting out a broadcast towards all the Autobots. This is an uneasy victory we've won here. there's new enemy, we ended up looking into the faces of our creators and seeing an enemy. So yeah, we close out with the realization that the Autobots are not just up against the Decepticons anymore, but these Quintessons could be another possible threat moving forward. Anyway, that's it for that episode. Kind of enjoyed that. You know, it's a long one. It's a long opening story. I did notice a lot of animation mistakes in this one. It was kind of cool to see some of the familiar faces playing like in the background here during the battles. You know, you're getting to see like a few of the Seekers, Decepticons, like Dirge and Ramjet. You've seen them. Just a few of the familiar faces from season 2 of the Transformers. Great, but as I say, animation mistakes. You had 3 different locations in here. So you had Cybertron, you had the moon Io, and you had Earth. So the battle on Earth was going on throughout the day. There was times there whenever you were on Io with like the black space background, there'd be it was all background animation mistakes. You know, 1 minute it would be deep space backgrounds, another shot you'd have broad daylight. That happened in the Earth fight sequence as well, and that American football scenario as well. You know, it's just any of the characters that were in those 2 locations between Io and Earth. And you know, whenever you switched locations, there was a mistake in the background depending on what angle you're looking at them on. But other than that, there, great episode. So yeah, that's going to do it. I'm kind of glad to be out of 5 Faces of Darkness here right now. It's a long opening story. Not one of the better ones. You know, there's a lot of setup in it just to give you the new scenario of this. You know, where the Transformers are at. Yeah, but that's all I can really say about it. We've finally finished it, and we're going to get into a couple of episodes time. We're going to get the second, not a couple of episodes time as far as this channel goes, but as far as season 3 of the Transformers goes, I think in 3 episodes time we're going to get the second heartbreaker episode of Optimus Prime and their Dark Awakening. So definitely, if you've got any sort of half interest towards this, come back and watch that episode whenever I put it up. There's just a point where you think to yourself, right, you killed us, you destroyed our mental state as children with Transformers the movie. Why the heck would you make Dark Awakening? But again, come and see it whenever I get it done. That's going to do it for this episode, guys. Stay safe, and I'll talk to you in the next one.